Welcome back to Tabletop 24, welcome back to the UKGE show floor. I'm here with Alex, who's now the Convention Programs Manager for LSS, which obviously produces Flesh and Blood. Now, Flesh and Blood is something that's close to our hearts, and so are conventions, and now we're getting a bit of a mix of the two.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you know, Flesh and Blood, coming up to nearly 5 years old. The game's grown beautifully, recruited players. I mean, the best organized play program in the world. And now they're turning their attention to conventions and growing player presence. And so here we are, building big shiny booths, bringing people in, introducing the game to some people who may never have seen it before, and getting people used to seeing us at these shows because we haven't been here before. And it's really exciting.
Perfect. So those that obviously don't know, Flesh and Blood is a character-driven combat game.
Absolutely, yeah. It's very much driven around the heroes and their classes. There's a huge amount of choice for you to have in the style of gameplay you want to play, depending on the class you choose, the hero you choose, the weapons and things that come with that, the deck options that come with it. And the game is in this wonderful place right now with a really balanced meta. Like, I've been talking to players getting ready for our event that's firing in half an hour, and it's very wide open. There's a couple of favorite characters and heroes that we're going to see, but I think there's going to be some left field ones that could easily take the day. So it's a great place.
And obviously this weekend is the release of the latest set, Part Misfail.
Absolutely, yeah. So you may have noticed the color scheme behind us in the blue. Yeah, Part the Misfail. It's been a huge product launch for us. Two weeks ago, we were over in Japan. It's the first time we've done Japanese language. We sold out the pre-release. We had a great time there. Lots of new players, really introducing the game to that market. Last week, the stores could have their pre-releases, so lots of players have had a chance to play the heroes, get used to them. And yeah, yesterday the game launched. As we were here, perfect timing, and we've been doing sealed events here and introducing new players, the new Blitz decks, and the new product we have on hand.
Perfect. And obviously everybody can see these fantastic booths. Obviously these are appearing all over the world, and we were talking about they might have a different theme in future.
Absolutely, yes. So about 4 weeks ago, we had the first showing of our new booth, kind of our statement, we're going to be at conventions over in Richmond, and that had the Heavy Hitters branding on. It was the only one we were ever going to do with Heavy Hitters, so 2 weeks later in Japan, Part of the Misfail graphic comes out. But yeah, we've got multiple of these booths going around. You're going to see us at key shows, so you'll see us at Essen Spiel, Gen Con, we're an event partner. 2 weeks from now at Gamescom Canada, where we are the TCG sponsors for the show. And then you'll expect to see us at the PAXs, the big cons like that. But equally, we're working with stores and local communities when they have smaller shows, and we want to embrace and work with them to build their local communities. Yeah. So we won't necessarily be bringing the full booth to those, but we'll have our presence, learn to play, making sure we're encouraging more people to join the games and directly put them into our community's hands and being like, new players, meet our fans, become part of the family.
Yeah, and we've seen that obviously with Aircon in the UK. There was obviously the Learn to Play booth there. Yeah. So these things are going to be popping up in smaller locations, so you can get on that. And obviously, if a convention isn't for you, go down to your FLGS.
Oh, 100%. Like we make sure our stores have exactly what they need. They have the Iro decks, they have the beginner decks. They'll be holding stock of Blitz. And I know that our players want more people to play the game. So a case of like, new players should not be afraid to pop down on the local Flesh and Blood night with an Iro deck, with a Blitz deck. They'll have people willing to give them some cards to build their deck, show them the ropes, get them involved. Like, it's a beautiful community, and we encourage more and more people, go down to your local game store, pick up the game and play. Perfect.
And so, obviously, those that are not aware, there's a little bit of a different sort of aging in Flesh and Blood, whereas most TCGs, anybody that hears the word TCG goes, oh, set rotation, things fall out the meta, and we have to keep buying into these new sets. Yep. Flesh and Blood, you don't have to buy into the new sets, do you?
No, that's the beautiful thing about it. So we have what we call living legend status. So as heroes do well in tournaments, they earn points. And once they hit a threshold, they then become a living legend and are no longer tournament playable. But that's quite a long way up. It takes a while to get there. And the point right now with a really balanced meta is everyone's slowly rising together. So there is no real fear. Like, if you decide you found your hero, you like them, you're enjoying the game, Banhammers aren't necessarily going to come down as quick as they do in other games. They're not going to rotate out purely because they came out X months ago and now they're no longer playable. It's purely on the meta and how the tournament and the scene evolves. And it's a really beautiful, natural process. It's a bit slower, well, not slower, but it's more organic and natural in the way it evolves.
Yeah, and obviously normally there's only a couple of cards that you're going to lose from the pool. So let's talk about Guardian, for instance.
Yep.
Talk about the elephant in the room, Starvo, if people don't know. So Bravo, star of the show, was one of the heroes that just ascended to Living Legends so quickly and was very powerful in the meta that it was in. Yep. But there's also Bravo Showstopper.
Yep.
So there's two different versions of this hero. So 99% of the card pool can be played in both heroes.
Exactly. So when and that's your point. So when a hero does hit that status, doesn't mean they're gone forever. Like they could appear again, to your point, and then a lot of those cards become playable again. It's only a small number of cards you really lose. So as far as worrying about your collection and I've had it with other games where I've literally made the decision to go, okay, I'm going to go and get these things and do this. And then like weeks later, I'm like, well, that was a waste of time. You know? So yeah, that's not really going to happen with us. We don't let that happen too much.
And also take the Guardian archetype. You might not want to now play Bravo because style of the show allowed. Yep. But you can then go into something like Victor, who was in Heavy Hitters.
2 brand new Guardians just a few months ago, and who knows, maybe some more. I don't know, like you never know what's coming down the road. So yeah, exactly that. So things that are like, rather than like specialization cards, the things that are class specific have a far wider longevity, and so can absolutely be used. And maybe forgotten for a while until someone goes, hang on a minute, wasn't there a card that like might suddenly work? And that's interesting.
Yeah. And we've seen that particularly with the Brute class, where Brutes typically work on a 6 power attack. And they really thrive on that. And everybody was like, oh, there's so many cards that come below that 6 point, can't use them. And then out comes KO, Armed and Dangerous, who makes them all fives to 6s. So there's obviously a lot of development in that. I know the guys back in the studio do a lot of work on the development side. And they're always looking at this. So cards that you don't think are relevant 3-4 sets ago could come back round as well.
Those guys in the office are phenomenal. Like, I don't know how they do what they do, but even like in the short time I've been with the game and the experiences I've had with cards and how it's designed and how tidy and neat everything is now, like, you don't accidentally get a beautifully meta-balanced game. That's not something that just you stumble across. It's been beautifully orchestrated. And like, that's what's great about it. We have so many people in the office who are fan favorites of heroes for multiple reasons. So they'll keep playing that hero, and they'll be able to keep playing that hero because the game's just so beautifully balanced.
That's it. So let's come back around to the convention scene. Obviously, you can come and do your learn to plays, but you're getting some sort of rewards for doing some of those.
Yeah, absolutely. So we call them our leagues. So these are our new player leagues. So today, if people hop down to the show, we'll give them a demo, that's fine, and they get their free Ira deck. And when they get their free Ira deck, we can send them over to our casual play zone. It's not so much as a tournament, but like hang out with other people who've also had demos who are new to the game, play some games, record your results. Doesn't matter if you win, that's not what it's about. It's about enjoying the game, learning a little bit more. Come on back to the booth and you get your prize. We'll give you a Blitz deck to say thank you. If you're a little bit more competent and you want to start off with a Blitz deck, you can buy a Blitz deck from the shop and do the Blitz challenge. You get some boosters instead. So there's different ways depending on how, like, if you're brand new to TCGs, you want to start with the Ira deck. But if you've maybe played a couple of other games, you want to start with a bit more meatier challenge, we can bring you into like the Blitz deck challenge, and that's going to be really popular. And we'll sit them right next to tournament players, so they can go and see what like they could do next year. Right? The idea is you can have a first taste here, play the game, learn the basics, evolve into a Blitz deck. So now you've got your equipment, and you can actually see the Progress Plus going on over there. We've got a good number of players there competing out for that, and yeah, welcome them back next year to come and take part in that.
That is fantastic. Alex, thank you for your time today. Obviously, we are biased on this, so our next coverage for Flesh and Blood is going to be UK Nationals.
Fantastic.
So that's a couple of weeks away, so we're going to be there for that, doing the stream for that coverage. But if this game sounds something like you, and we do recommend it to those in the board game space, it is something that you want to come and try out, do so. Check out the other videos from the convention, and we will catch you next time. Take care.
Thank you.